Hey, it's John Nemo. So, want to walk through this new topic. This story's been getting a lot of attention. It's from Entrepreneur. They did an interview with for their podcast with LinkedIn. Dan Roth, I think he's the head of their content. Let me see here. Yeah, their editor in chief. And kind of, the breaking news was, their algorithm has changed again. And so, I'm going to walk through kind of some of the key takeaways from the article, and also give my 2 cents on what this means for you and me, as far as posting on LinkedIn. And I think the key thing to really think about is, I'll just jump into my LinkedIn newsfeed. And if you look at it, right, there's just so much noise, right? There's so much going on. There's so much content. You're scrolling. Like, what's really going to stop and make you think and ponder, right? And so what's going to be interesting is understanding what really catches attention, what LinkedIn says they will give the most authority and weight to. Now, one of the key things to understand just from the beginning is just because you have a certain amount of LinkedIn followers or LinkedIn connections, and I'll highlight those here for those that are watching the video, but right, I've got 20,000 followers on LinkedIn. I don't 500 plus connections. I probably have around 18,000 connections. I'm not sure. When I publish on LinkedIn, it does not mean they all see it. Okay, that's a fallacy that a lot of people have is, well, if I have 10,000 followers, every time I publish a status update, they all see it. No. What LinkedIn does, at least my understanding of the algorithm, is they only show it to a snippet, to a small amount of people of your total following or total first degree connections. And then based off how many people interact with that, they call this velocity, like, how many people comment, engage, like, etc. And if say they show it to 20 of your followers, if those 20 immediately, comment, engage, like, reshare, repost, they'll show it to more people, and that's how it goes viral. Now, the backlash to this, obviously people always are going to game the algorithm. That's never going to change. The backlash was during COVID, LinkedIn kind of saw this huge spike in the algorithm with a lot of selfie posts, right? So people would create, try to just go viral all the time, and they would do it with kind of more Facebook type posts. And it was interesting because one of my most popular posts, I was looking at the stats here, was I did a poll. It was actually about a year ago, like, hey, our LinkedIn status update is getting too personal, right? Would you rather just people stick to work, right? And, I had 66% of people. I had 267 votes on this thing, 36 comments. People were like, yeah, save it for Facebook. I'm tired of this, personal. And so LinkedIn kind of, if you read the article, they're like, yeah, we got a lot of complaints that it was, too personal and too much like Facebook and enough selfie videos and blah, 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 blah. So one of the core things they're changing and giving more weight to with the algorithm, and I'll pull up my notes here, is they want you posting more kind of knowledge and advice type posts. And again, this is all coming from their editors saying, hey, listen, like, this is what, this is what we're going to give more weight to as far as the automated boosting of it, right? The way that LinkedIn works, as I said earlier, is when you post something in the news feed, it does not mean all your followers are going to see it. LinkedIn's going to wait and see and go, okay, well, how many people interacted with this? How many people interacted with that? Like, then we'll expand it to more people, less people, etc. So best practices to try and get your post going viral, as far as the most engagement. They want you posting more like knowledge and advice because people, right, we're more on LinkedIn to try to learn and get knowledge and get expertise. And LinkedIn really wants to position itself, as this one-stop shop. So you can come onto LinkedIn and, you can post a job, you can do LinkedIn learning, you can, join groups and network professionally. There's a services marketplace, which used to be called ProFinder, which is where you can hire like vendors and freelancers. So they really want to be this one-stop shop, but they want the tone to be professional. It's not about, selfie and your family and all that stuff, like basically save it for Facebook. So that's their first big thing, which we kind of all know, right? It's not breaking news. So it's really trying to share your expertise, your knowledge, and your advice is a big piece of it. And that ties in as well with, they talked about your authority. So another big one was LinkedIn really wants to know, are you an authority on what you're posting about? Meaning if I, John Nemo, am posting on let's say corporate, 100 leadership management. I'm not an authority on that. I'm not a CEO at a Fortune, 100 company or something like that, right? Now, if I'm posting LinkedIn tips on how to use LinkedIn for lead gen, that's where my authority is. And if you look at and reverse engineer the approach, what you're going to find if you look at your own LinkedIn profile here, what have you put as your top kind of skills? Because again, when you go down on your LinkedIn profile, you can see for me, right, I've got skills and endorsements for B2B marketing, lead generation, and LinkedIn. So if I'm posting about my top skills, LinkedIn can kind of match that and look at keywords of my LinkedIn status updates and say, oh, okay, he's using the term B2B marketing and we're cross-checking his profile. Okay, yes, he's been endorsed for B2B marketing or lead generation or LinkedIn, right? Or, LinkedIn marketing, LinkedIn training, right? So I've been endorsed for all these other things too. So if I wanted to post about public relations, I have over 100 endorsements for public relations because I used to do PR. Same with marketing, journalism, etc. So if you haven't already, take a step back, set up your profile in your skills area. You should see a skills section on your profile and you can add skills there. Add skills and LinkedIn will give you keywords. So you will literally type in, if you want to post about leadership, just type in the word leader and it will give you drop downs about leadership, team leadership, leadership development, educational leadership, organizational. Like put those keywords on your profile as skills. And then when you post on LinkedIn, use those same kind of skills and keywords in the text of the status update. And that's that author authority where their little robots are reading it going, okay, Nemo was posting about leadership. We looked at his profile and he's been endorsed for all these different leadership topics. Okay, he is an authority on leadership. That's the idea behind the author authority. Another big one that they talked about was, comments. That comments carry more weight than likes or reshares or things like that. So you want to try to create posts that are going to generate what they call meaningful comments. Now, what does a meaningful comment mean? Is it, hey, cool post, or is it like a longer discussion and, insights? I don't know exactly, and I don't know, frankly, how a robot, an automated algorithm would decide what's meaningful and what isn't. Probably there's some sort of, weight given to the words used and things like that. But basically, when I'm looking through my most popular posts from the last couple of months, as far as views and stuff, they do have a lot of comments, right? And so a lot of the comments are longer, right? And people are engaging. And a lot of my posts that have gotten the most views in the last few months are LinkedIn polls. So if you haven't done LinkedIn polls, I would definitely experiment with those. And I'm showing a LinkedIn poll right now on the screen, right? Several of those where, my best polls got, hundreds of votes. And the great thing about LinkedIn polls is they naturally invite discussion because you're asking people for their opinion, right? So one example here, I've got a poll, here on the screen that basically is talking about, hey, how do you use LinkedIn for lead generation? How's it going for you, et cetera. And then one of the beauties for you on the back end is you can look at the 83 people who voted on my poll, or I can message them. Like these are qualified leads, right? You can literally see who voted on your poll and you can sort it by, 32 people said they're not getting any leads. 22 said they're getting a decent amount. 17 people voted on this poll and said, I could use more leads from LinkedIn. Well, guess what? As a LinkedIn lead generation guy, those are qualified leads for me to go talk to. And I have context for a conversation. So I can say, hey, Daniel, Christy, Shane, Jim, everybody else, Jane, Ben, whoever, like, hey, thanks for voting on my poll. I really appreciate it. I saw that you said you could use more leads from LinkedIn. What are you currently doing? What are you currently trying? Are you looking for any advice, any help, etc.? So that way you get context for conversation and kind of intent-based leads. So there's a lot of value to doing LinkedIn polls anyway, and I've gone deeper on that. But it also invites comments, right? Even below the poll, you're going to see comments from people. They're interested. Another LinkedIn update I did, which, I wasn't thinking about it at the time, but I said, hey, I got a new book coming out soon. And I just put a picture up of the cover art. It was LinkedIn lead generation for business coaches and consultants. Literally, it was a one-sentence update. New book coming out soon. Let me know in the comments if you want a free copy when it comes out. Because one of my things that I do with my business is content marketing. I give away all my books for free. So I give away digital copies of all my books as PDFs or, EPUB, Kindle, or audiobooks. I give them all away for free as a lead magnet. And so this one generated 108 comments of people saying, I want the book, I want the book, I want the book, right? So that was a post that got a lot of, attention and weight and whatever, because it had a lot of comments. And that goes back to this algorithm thing about, commenting. And so there's been other tips as well that say, hey, before you post on LinkedIn, you should go comment on other people's status updates. Like, you should go in and add some value, show that you're not just a one direction person. Like, you actually bring value and add conversations on the site, and, like and engage and share thoughtful things. So you can definitely do that too. And you can kind of pick who you want to do that for as far as like the ideal prospects, or you can use LinkedIn search and search by topics. So, I can search LinkedIn lead generation on LinkedIn's main search bar, because remember, LinkedIn literally takes every piece of content on this platform and indexes it. Every keystroke is indexed and then saved, so you can use it like a search engine. So in this case, I can literally go into LinkedIn search, type in LinkedIn lead generation and click posts, and I can immediately see posts about LinkedIn lead generation and see who's posting about it, who's sharing tips, if there's opportunities for me to come in and comment. So you can do the same thing. You can look at posts on leadership or SEO or whatever your service is. You can add your voice. And what you can do is look for posts that have a ton of visibility, right? So like, I could look here and say, okay, this post has 12 comments, 219 likes, or, this post only has 2. I don't want to bother with it. This post, was about that. Like, you can figure out and piggyback off popular conversations that are already happening by adding comments. I know that's one thing the LinkedIn algorithm and the LinkedIn newsfeed gurus and the LinkedIn audience building gurus talk about all the time is go in and add your comments to popular posts. It's basically like walking into a cocktail party where there already are 500 people talking, and you're able to go up to the microphone and share your thoughts, right? And jump in, like almost like an open mic night where everyone's coming in, right? So again, you can do all that just searching on LinkedIn, using the search bar, typing in the topic, sorting by posts, and then you can basically look and see, okay, I want to look at the most popular posts. I want to look at the latest or the top matches, etc. So that's another one. And then obviously when you're writing status updates on LinkedIn, invite conversation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, And again, that comes back to content marketing of like, okay, try to create content that's thought-provoking, right? Or controversial, right? Like, have a strong stand. Do you agree with this? Do you disagree with this? Tell me why in the comments. You know what gets people talking, right? It's not vanilla, middle of the road stuff. It's having a strong take. Like, if, for example, if you wanted to get people going on LinkedIn, if you just want to be a performance artist, you could talk about politics or religion or guns or, stay at home or not stay at home. Like, I'm not encouraging you to do that and just be like a provocateur, but obviously talk about things like, what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now about this? Or, this might come across, this might create controversy, but I'm a firm believer you should only work 2 hours a week. Or I don't know. You can make stuff up, based on your audience and what gets them talking. Now, another big thing they talk about in this entrepreneur article, and again, I'm just showing that on the screen, and I'll link to it all as well, but is making sure the content is relevant to like target audiences, right? So they're going to match people's profiles to the content topic to a degree. And again, there's weight involved to all of this. So that means if you're already connected to me, to John Nemo, as a first degree connection, and on your profile, it says that you're a leadership consultant, a leadership coach. And on your profile, it says your top 3 skills are leadership development, leadership management, leadership coaching. And I post a status update that says, hey, I want to talk today about leadership coaching and leadership development. Here are some thoughts I have. You're going to be more likely than my other 20,000 connections to get that post thrown up in your feed. Because LinkedIn's going to look at you and go, okay, Nemo has 20,000 connections. He did a post about leadership. A, Nemo's an authority on leadership. He's been endorsed for the skill. B, who in his network is also interested in the topic of leadership based on their profile, skills, job title, and keywords. Let's show it to those people and see if they want to start gathering around this water cooler discussion in the status update. So that's part of it, just thinking in terms of, who's the target audience on this? Can I use keywords that they would have on their profile and topic-based keywords? Again, use the LinkedIn skills section on your profile to look for keywords. That's a really easy place. Go to your profile page, go down to where it says skills, click the little plus button and start typing in the keywords, and it will show you what it suggests for skills. So if I type in SEO, SEO copywriting, SEO audits, search engine optimization, right? So if I'm an SEO company, I could write, if you're considering organic search and if you're struggling with SEO audits, and then it would look for people interested in that topic. Let's see any other big takeaways here. Authority we talked about. It was interesting too because as much as LinkedIn bemoans the selfie posts and the personal stuff and all that, it does say, "Oh, share your personal perspective," right? So it's a little bit schizophrenic here, a little bit. It says LinkedIn will reward posts that have a unique perspective or insight. If you have a real generic post that was obviously just, written, copy pasted from somewhere, written by AI, and there's no real, pizzazz to it and no personality to it, it's less likely to be promoted by the algorithm. So I like this one because one of my favorite formulas for content creation is, I call it just personal story plus business lesson equals content. So, take a business lesson, maybe your topic is leadership, and tell a personal story to illustrate leadership concept. It could be your personal story from your time in the trenches, leading teams. It could just be a leadership story from sports about a coach. It could be anything. But again, humans are still reading these posts. As much as we talk about the algorithm, we still have human beings reading the content. And what do we know human beings love above all else is what your kids and grandkids love is bedtime stories, right? Tell me a story. Why do we love movies? Why do we love books? Why do we love TV? Why do we love everything? Story, 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 story. So always have a story. Have a story for every topic you want to talk about, or an analogy, right? I was just talking to a member of my team, and he was talking about getting more people bought in, and he said, well, a great analogy for that is the cake always tastes better if you help bake it, right? So I'm going to make sure everyone has a part in the recipe and the ingredients, even if it's just stirring the bowl, like the little kid making the cake, with grandma. So find ways to illustrate business lessons with stories. And that's that simple formula of personal story plus the business lesson is the content. And when I look back, those are some of my posts that have done really well as I, search through, is some of these personal stories of, me talking about making mistakes, or, talking about, things that, struggles, time in the trenches, but authentic, transparent, vulnerable, but there's also a business lesson. So some of those have really gone well for me. I've got one of my first office, right? It was literally a laptop, a microphone, perched on top of a pretzel box. That was the start of Nemo Media Group, right? And I talk about the whole story there, and it's a personal story. How I quit a safe six-figure day job in 2012. I had enough money for 30 days. My wife and 3 boys under the age of 10 are at home. That was my office, was a corner in the bedroom in the soft pretzel box, right? And the business lesson, of course, is how to build your business and how you can do it and the mindset and all that stuff, right? And so, again, I share an authentic photo to really get people engaged and interacting and commenting. So that's that personal story plus business lesson idea. I have another one where I just talk about mistakes, and I have a funny photo of me, and talking about that and the business lessons around mistakes and how to overcome them and all that stuff. So there's a lot to be said. Now, I will put all this together. Obviously, I'll have a post along with this video if you're interested, kind of outlining everything we've covered, all the key kind of steps to try and stand out on the LinkedIn algorithm. According to what LinkedIn says, according to what their editor-in-chief says, they're going to reward, right, is, what the biggest changes are going to be. So I will put all that together, but I will also say this. Don't freak out about it. It's always going to be far, far easier to focus on one-on-one direct messaging and one-on-one direct connecting to get business from LinkedIn than it will be figuring out how to go viral. So again, if at the end of the day you said to me, John, you can only do one thing on LinkedIn, I'm going to take away every other feature on the platform. I want you to use LinkedIn to get business and get leads, but you can only use one part of the platform. I would say, give me the inbox. All day, every day. The money on LinkedIn is in the mailbox. That has not changed. So I want to end this with a little bit of a soapbox rant that, yes, it's great to publish content on LinkedIn and try to figure out the algorithm and try to go viral and try to do best practices. You should share content, get visible. But at the end of the day, none of that is nearly as effective as one-on-one direct messaging. And the reason is simple. If I can talk to you one-on-one in a personalized fashion, it moves the needle much faster than me publishing content, hoping you see it, hoping you comment, hoping you follow up. Now, of course, all of this is meant to say, when you do get a post that goes viral, the key is to chase people who engaged with it. So for example, when I had a LinkedIn poll that I published, and I said I had 17 people say they could use more leads from LinkedIn, I went and chased all 17 people and said, hey, I saw you voted on the poll. You're looking for more leads on LinkedIn. Can I help? Can I give you advice? Do you looking to work with us? So, always have a strategy behind the content. It does you no good. Again, if you're using LinkedIn the way that I'm using it and that our clients use it in order to get leads and get sales calls booked and talk to prospects, if you want to use LinkedIn for sales and lead generation, you've got to actually talk to the people one-on-one. So yes, the content's great, the publishing's great, getting a bunch of likes and comments is great, but only if you can turn those people, those page views into paying clients. And that still comes down to one-on-one, belly-to-belly, talking, live to each other. So all of this, keep it in mind, keep it in perspective. I'm, going to work on publishing lots more content on LinkedIn, but also having a plan behind it of, okay, publish the content when people engage, when they respond, when they talk to you. Now you have context for conversations. And the beautiful thing about LinkedIn is when I look at the 17 people that said they could use more LinkedIn leads from my LinkedIn poll, I immediately can see their job title. I can look at their profile. I can see if they're a fit, if they're the exact type of client I want to work with, or if they're not. Right? For example, if someone voted and said, yeah, I'm a student intern and I want more leads for my internship, I'm not going to take the time to go and do the one-on-one approach with them. If they say, I'm the owner of a business and I want more leads, and I look at their page and go, yeah, they're the exact fit, then I talk to them. So that's the beauty of all this. That's all the opportunities that we have. So thank you for following along. Hope you found this helpful. Lots more tips coming up soon, and appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.